accountability. What is it? It's a check and balance system to protect us from harm and from ourselves and others. We do this by being open to what we are thinking and doing so that we can receive encouragement and reproof when needed. Christian accountability is the accounting for what we are up to. It is the realization that we are liable, responsible, and answerable to our actions to God. It's a critical phase of our development. It's a critical phase of our personal discipleship. 1 Corinthians 3 says it this way: according to the grace of God given to me, like a skilled master builder, I built a foundation. Someone else is building upon it. Let each one take care of how he builds upon it. For no one can lay a foundation other than that which is laid, which is Jesus Christ. Now, if anyone builds in the foundation with silver, gold, precious stones, wood, hay, straw, each one's work will become manifest in the day and disclose of it, because it will be revealed by fire, and fire will test it, and short of the work that has been done. If the work that anyone has built upon the foundation survives, he will receive a reward. If anyone's work is burned up, he will suffer loss, and though he himself will be saved, that's through fire. I know Paul is talking about the work of the church there, but Paul, if you really look at the context there, Paul's also talking about the work in our lives. It's not, we get so caught up with this corporate thing, but the works that we are doing, that we're investing in each other, God's going to hold us accountable for. How you and I are speaking to each other's lives, God is going to hold accountable. Yesterday I was at this youth event. And we can't help doing what I'm doing in my life. For a number of years I've done it. And not sit there and think about, who have I spoken into? Who have I shepherded? Who have I mentored? I wasn't always a pastor. I've only been a, word you'll laugh at this, a real pastor. That was the joke, by the way. I was the only, dare I say it, senior pastor there. I was the only one. People would say, "You're a youth worker." Yeah, kind of, sort of. Are you full-time or part-time? Full-time. Oh, really? Yeah. What, are you a pastor? Because, at those type of events, it's like, the running joke that I heard for 14, 15 years is, when are you going to be a real pastor? You laugh. I'm serious. That's a serious thing in the church. Hey, you're good enough to fix my kid's life, but you're not going to speak into mine. Anybody in youth work ever heard that? Yeah.
Once or twice.
Once or twice, yeah.
A week.
A week?
A day.
And you're reminded about it constantly? Well, here's the thing. I sat there and I realized some things. First of all, the church I'm now pastoring, when I look at the people that are in the room, not that you were in my youth group 20 years ago, but you are my youth group for 20 years ago in a frightening weird kind of sort of way when you really think about it. The personalities that I have, that I'm ministering to, that I'm shepherding, that I'm leading, would have been exactly the people that were in my youth group 20 years ago. And I sat there and I'm thinking about guys that I've spoken into over the years who are now leaders in their churches. See, I wasn't a pastor then, in the true technical sense of the word. But I was an accountability partner. I was just, you see, I'm going to give you a couple pictures here. One, what it isn't. Accountability, when you get together with somebody, is not your opportunity to gossip. It's not what it's about. When you get together, it's not your opportunity to dump on your 2-3 buddies about what's wrong with the entire world. Yeah, we have our days, okay? But it's not about what's wrong with the entire world. It's not an opportunity to go off on stuff. Although, every once in a while, we need to vent to a friend. I've got 2-3 guys that I'm allowed to vent to. Yes, I'm allowed to vent to them, and they're going, okay, here's some decaf. Okay, I got 3 or 4 friends like that, okay? None of you are them. There's some stuff I don't talk to my wife about. Why? She's my wife, and it will totally bug her with her security. I got 2-3 guys. They're around the country. Pick up the phone, do an email saying, This is on my heart. This is what I'm struggling with. And they'll speak into me. Mano a mano. What is accountability? It allows us to be answerable to each other. In the opportunity to share and do life together, it breeds confidence on our journey. Don't you need confidence? Don't you want to know when you're facing something head on, you got 2-3 guys that have your back, or 2-3 gals that feel your pain, they're there. Hung out with a pastor friend last night, and his wife and my wife were sitting there marveling at the fact that I was stifled. He talks more than me. Wow.
Is that possible?
Wow. Yeah, it's possible. It was the two women are giggling, you know? You know, it's like, yep, they're like each other. They're just like each other, you know? Ladies, don't you want to have 2-3 friends in your life who, when your men folk get all weird, that you can giggle and laugh and say, yep, that's him. Look what God's blessed me with. Pray for me. You hold hands and you pray for each other. You laugh. I know that's what goes on. I've walked into those rooms and they all get quiet, and all of a sudden when you wander through, I just get my coat and leave, and they're all smirking and giggling at me. I know they've been talking about me and praying for me, you know? You need a buddy system in your life to gain the confidence to face the journey. Paul and Barnabas did incredible stuff. They experienced incredibly negative stuff. They experienced the power of God flowing through them and doing great works. They were there. They had their little core. You see, we violate this in Christianity big time. We violate it in the pastorate where, well, who says there's supposed to be one pastor? There's supposed to be a plurality of elders. Why? Because one guy can't do it. One guy's going to get shot. One guy's going to get brought down. We got to be a team. You look at the life of Paul. You look at the life of Peter. You look at John and James. What did they have? I hate using the word. They had a posse. They had a group of individuals. Some young pups, some older guys. They were in it together to get the job done.
Entourage.
Entourage. Thank you very much. But we violate that. I'm going to talk. I want you to think about your life, and I'll talk about my life for a second. I'm a church planter. Do you know how they did church planting 5 years ago? Let's halo drop you with a backpack behind enemy lines. Oh yes, you're not fully funded. We'll just jump out of the plane. Go land there. Yeah, you have just enough to fight a skirmish. Oh, by the way, while you're there, organize the militia to fight a major campaign and learn to live off the land. By yourself, you and your wife. We don't do that anymore. We send teams. Why? You've got to go on a team. Why? Jesus said go 2 by 2. If Jesus said go 2 by 2, who are we thinking we're smarter than Jesus? If Jesus only really discipled 12 people, I'm an idiot for thinking I can do 14. We violate biblical principles. If God said 2 by 2, and fella, you're going through life by yourself, you need a buddy or two to go through life. Why? Jesus went through life. Jesus had 3 disciples that were incredibly close to him. Can you name them?
Peter, James, and John.
Peter, James, and John. If you look at every time he was struggling through pain, he was struggling through what do I do with this crowd. He knew what he was doing with the crowd, but he was unpacking it. Every place in Scripture, he had his 3 with him. Who are you thinking you can handle life on your own by yourself if Jesus, the Son of God himself, had 3 people hanging out with on a regular basis? Are you feeling me here? You soaking this in a little bit? If you want to have the confidence to face what God has called you to do, to go through life on the journey that we're unpacking, you cannot, will not, ever succeed on your own. That's why you need this accountability.